2, 1.
Hey, I'm Elisa Parker. We're broadcasting from the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, which, by the way, is hosted and produced by Circle, South Yuba River Citizens League, which has been a staple here in our community and beyond. Such a phenomenal nonprofit. And water, right? That Circle's big part and focus is around our water and our water resources. And today, a different kind of water is looking at our oceans. And Liam, you're laughing already. Look at Liam. He's cracking me up. I have Tom Fitz and Liam here, and their film is The Coral Reef Rescue. You might have heard them a little bit on Friday night when we were broadcasting here. It's great to have you guys here. What is cracking you up, Liam?
I'm not quite sure.
You're not? Sometimes, yeah. That's all right. We'll go with that. How has the festival been for you guys so far?
The festival has been super. Really great people. Obviously, some fabulous films that we've seen, and it's been action-packed, that's for sure.
Liam, have you seen any kids, other kids? Have you talked to any other kids, like especially those that saw your guys' film?
I haven't talked to many, but the MC at the film that ours was at, we met her.
Oh, was that Lily?
Yes. Yeah, Lily.
Yes, Lily, she's traveled all over the world.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's cool. So Coral Reef Rescue, tell everyone about your film.
Well, it's really to raise awareness for coral reefs, and they're really taking a hit from climate change and global warming, and it's basically just to raise awareness for that.
And how are you using, so one of the ways you're featuring this in the film is how we are helping to bring back coral reefs. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because that's what's unique, and I think
Sure.
I hadn't even heard about the process before.
Sure. Well, the process is kind of twofold, which I think is kind of neat. One group that we worked with is looking for what they call super corals, the corals that are a bit more resistant to the pressures that we people are putting on the reefs. And so they identify them, and then they're growing them in nurseries and just planting more and more of those. The other group has figured out how to, in essence, expedite the growth of coral by over 50 times, which is, I mean, it's true science fiction.
Because usually it takes a long time for coral to grow, doesn't it?
It takes a very, very long time. And so these guys, by pure accident, they figured out how to do this, and both groups are very big on sharing everything that they've learned with anybody who will listen around the world in the sort of the coral, tropical belt, so that they can do the same thing and keep their reefs, which are also, taking a beating on the other side of the world, and they're replanting all over, which is the goal.
So has the focus been where you guys are in the Florida Keys? Is that how you connected with them and learned about this? Isn't that where you're based at?
Yes, we're in South Florida, and Keys are within a few hours by car. And so it was a perfect place for us to work. Our films, by the way, are for K through 12 students, and our budgets are not huge. It's a nonprofit. We raise the money to make the films, and so I have to pick the stories carefully, and it was nice that this one was pretty close. And then we can give them away for free on PBS and iTunes. And so we can't make really, really expensive films, but this one fit the bill.
And so what's the process? I'm going to call it planting the reef, but what is that process like, and are these reefs thriving once they are moved from the lab, the nursery, the coral nursery, into the ocean?
Well, interestingly enough, so they have the lab, then they have a nursery that's in the ocean, and they have what they call Christmas trees. They have these trees, and they hang small pieces of coral to grow in the ocean, and then once they reach a certain size, then they replant those, and they have 1 million volunteers who come in, and so in a single day, I don't know what the number is, but they can plant a lot of corals. And so the nurseries are in the ocean, and
they're thriving.
Yeah, I mean,
right. They're not, because typically what we see, right, is like fungus being bleached out, and you wonder if that's from some of the runoff, like agriculture runoff. If it's from, like in Fukushima, we hear about that in the Pacific Ocean, and seeing that in Hawaii. So how are they doing?
Well, they're doing pretty well considering the hit that they're having. There's one telltale sign that they really are doing pretty well, and that's that they are reproducing on their own. It happens on like one single week in August, and it really pitch black dark, and all you see is the coral spawns just going
You're
every which
kidding
way.
me.
Yeah.
What do you mean it happens one night? Like there's a magical night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's to do with the moon, and it's a
Really?
yearly event, and so for these scientists, for them to see that the corals that they are planting are now naturally reproducing is a very, very good thing, and it's a sign that they are being successful.
That's fascinating. Wait, so does it have to do with the time of year? And you said in the moon, just
Yes.
that one time of year?
Yep. Yep.
Wow, I had no idea. And Liam, how do you know so much about coral reefs?
Well, I've seen the film.
Well, I know you've seen the film, but are you a diver?
Yes, I am.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that, because I don't know too many. Are you 13?
I'm 14.
14. I don't know too many 14-year-olds that are doing, like, that dive, like do scuba diving.
Well, it's really fun. He was the one who really got me to do it. Yeah, I got a couple friends, and it's really helped because now I can really be a part of what he does, and
Why don't
something
you
that I've
mention-
always
why
wanted
don't
to
you
do.
mention what our next film will be?
Oh, we have another film you're working on? That's cool.
Well, hopefully within like 2 weeks we'll start shooting a film about octopus behavior, and hopefully I'll be hosting that on camera.
And where does the interest come from that in studying octopus behavior?
Well, we have one really local, like you would definitely not expect, like multiple different species of octopi living under this one single bridge. It's called the Blue Heron Bridge, and it is like a very public beach, like always crowded, a dive spot, and under this bridge there are several different species.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Five
amazing.
different
And they're
species.
really smart animals. So I've been told.
They're very
Yeah.
bright, and we're going to team up with a gal who is very bright. She's getting her PhD in octopus behavior. So
That's really cool.
she and Liam and another gal in his school will be the three on camera, and I think it should be fun.
I asked you guys this the other night, but since the theme is the edge, at the edge, for both of you, when's a moment that you've been at the edge? Like, you've been on sometimes it feels like we're on the edge of a cliff and we're going to like jump off, and we need to do that if we're going to make things happen in our life. And it could be sometimes to make a positive impact in the world, or sometimes just a personal difference in our own lives. So how about for you? Who wants to go first on that one?
He does.
Oh, he does. Okay, that's the big question.
Well-
That's a big question for you, Liam.
I mean, I guess as a cameraman, I've had some wonderful experiences kind of on the edge in very extreme places. But honestly, I think that my best answer for your question right now is that I think that coral reefs are on the edge.
They are on the edge.
And so I mean, that's what I get out of this festival. There are so many films about so many topics just like this that are on the edge. And I know we're kind of preaching to the choir here. Here I am bumping your microphone, sorry. But these are critical things for us to be dealing with, right now or yesterday.
Yeah.
And so that's, for me, I think that's the answer of what's on the edge.
Okay, cool. Liam, how about for yourself? When you had to like push yourself and put, you had like, maybe there was a little fear going outside of your comfort zone, but you knew I need to do this.
Passing my diving test.
Passing your diving test. Totally.
Really hard.
I bet it's hard. What does it feel like to be immersed in the ocean in that way? What's that feel like?
It feels like you're just floating, and you have 20 feet below you, and whatever it is, 60 feet above you, and you can just turn around and look up, and it just feels amazing.
Yeah. What do you want to say, Liam, to other kids about why it's so important to get involved and be engaged in our times?
Well, our planet's not going to last forever if we don't do something about it, and we really do need to make a change because the way things are going, it's not doing really well.
All right, Liam, you rock. I'll give a high five to you.
Thank you.
Too.
You rock too. Thank you very much.
All right, the film is called Coral Reef Rescue. What is it done screening? Is it screening again today?
No, I think it's done screening here now.
So I'll have to go and check it out.
You can find it on iTunes and PBS Learning Media.
Cool. Thanks so much, Tom and Liam. Coral Reef Rescue, it's at Wild and Scenic Film Festival. 15 years we've been doing this. Thanks so much for being part of it. I'm Elisa Parker, and we will be right back. Thanks, guys. You're awesome, Liam. Thanks, Tom. like this.
great.
It's really
Appreciate
cool
it.
too, just to like, dad and son hanging out.